Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Well, welcome to the Action Popcast. I'm Nick, and to the side of me it's Kat. Sorry, I was pulling a stupid face waiting for the Real Impact logo to go, and I don't know if it caught me or not. So I don't know. It's like a proper Rick Mel face. So yeah. If you got that, that's a bonus. So anyway, before we say hello to everyone in the chat who's turned up this evening, because I see a few of you in, and thank you for showing up this evening to discuss this epic film that is Highlander. Kat, how are you? How's your week been? What's been going on?
It's been really busy, but it's been good. Lots of projects my kids had to do during the week, so that's been fun. But I'm here, ready to talk about 1992 Highlander, right?
No. What are you doing? What are you doing?
I'm just kidding. We're talking about 86 Highlander, the cult classic.
Yeah. See, Kat, we'll go into this a little bit later, but Kat seems to prefer the TV series to the film, and I'm going to die on this hill, and I'm prepared to die on this hill. Nothing beats Highlander 1986. None of the sequels, none of the TV shows, the god-awful cartoon, the comic book, this so-called remake they're going to be doing. No, there can be only one, pun intended. And it is Highlander 1986. I'm not having it any other way, mate. Do you know what I mean?
I will give it up that it was a lot better than I thought. I just had no idea there was a movie. I only knew about the 92, but I'm happy to talk about it. It'll be fun.
Well, I mean, my parents didn't care what I watched as a kid, so I watched it really, really young. Mm-hmm. I watched it with Carla last night, and just to refresh myself. Not that I needed to, because I sat quoting the film the whole way through, annoying Carla. But I thought, I wonder if Jax could watch this. And as you get him through it, I'm like, no, this isn't a film for a 10-year-old. And I was probably 7 or 8 when I watched this. But
I even covered my eyes. I was like, I don't need to see this. This isn't appropriate.
This isn't appropriate. Oh, dear. Anyway, I think it would be wise of us to say hello to those who have shown up this evening to support the show and to listen to us waffle about nerdy Highlander-ishness. I don't know the word there. Anyway, so excuse me, the first person in this evening was Rolando Flores. So hello, Rolando. Good to see you, mate. Thank you for coming along this evening. We've also got in Emma C. She says, evening all. Hello, Emma. Good to see you. Thanks for coming along this evening. We've also been joined by Kieran Bull, who says, hello, Kat, Emma, Nick, and Rolando. We have also been joined by Uncle Keith himself. Keith Knight says, good evening, Nick and Kat. Hello, chat. Hello, Uncle Keith. How are you? Hope you are doing well this evening, sir. Scrolling without trying to lose where I am. We have been joined by Jojo. Hello, Jojo. Now, I know Jo this evening, she messaged me and said, I've just spent £4 on Amazon. I hope this is a good film.
Well,
and then she messaged me and said, Queen, do the soundtrack. How have I not seen this film? I'm like, well, I don't know how to help you. It's 2024. You're a Queen fan and you haven't seen this film, but now you've seen it. And I happen to know she enjoyed it very much. So that's a good thing. £4 well spent, we shall say. And we've got TJC. He says, evening. Oh, hello, TJC. Good to see you, mate. Thank you for popping along this evening. We also have, let's check I'm not missing any. We have Pete's Toys and Tings. Evening all. Evening, Pete. Thank you so much for coming along, sir. Mm-hmm. And, oh, God, we got more. We've got Zombie Hunter 115. Hey, Zombie. Thanks for popping along this evening. Always good to see you. The diabolical man himself. Well, he's not diabolical, really. Pod Racing Palpatine, the Emperor himself.
Go for Papa Palpatine.
There he goes. There he goes.
That's all I hear. Robot chicken.
Oh, God. We've also had Gillister, 37, join us. Hello.
Hey, Gillister.
Hey. How are you doing? Who else have we got in? Oh, look, we have got Monkey Boys Toys. Howdy do, everyone. Howdy do. How are you? There we go. Just scrolling through. Who have we got? Oh, we've been joined by Aisha. Hello, Aisha. We've also been joined by No, Jojo. No, we've already said hello to Jojo. You don't get two hellos, Jojo. So as anyone pops in, or if anyone new pops in, we will absolutely say hello.
Definitely.
But as you're right, I'm just going to make you large. Show everyone what you're drinking out of, Kat. I'm going to make solo layout. Go on.
Go Zilla. I got it from the new Zilla at the movie theater. It looks like one of those Mighty Mug things, but it's Godzilla.
Oh, there we go. I removed you from stage rather than solo layout. Check that out.
Because it's not Zilla and it's Godzilla, you don't have to kick me out, Nick.
You need to get over that. Anyway, we are here this evening to discuss Highlander 1986.
Hi, Luke.
Oh, we better say hello before we get into it. Oh, hello, Luke. Kurgan, one of the best villains ever. Yes, Luke. Luke knows. Yeah. Clancy Brown, absolute beast.
Yes.
We're gonna go deep in. I love the Kurgan. No, nothing beats the Kurgan. Well, apart from Connor MacLeod, but yeah, that's plot reasons. Anyway, yes, Highlander 1986. What a year. I'd have been 2 years old when this came out. So
I was born in 86, so
check you out. That's what you get. That's what you get for being young.
I know,
so
right? Yeah.
Directed by Russell McCarthy. I'm just going to spell it Mulcahy because I'm clearly very bad at pronunciation. Notable films of his: Razorback in 84, Ricochet in 91, and The Shadow in 94. Also worked on one of his notable TV shows was the Teen Wolf TV series from 2011 to 2017. And it was written by Gregory Wyden, story and screenplay. And this geezer was known, the main work that he was known for is Backdraft, 1991. So had a bit of a...
Love that movie, by the way. Just have to insert
great film.
Love that movie.
But
Yes.
I probably haven't watched that since I was about 8 or 9. So it's been a while.
I watched it I don't know, maybe 5 months ago, and I still bawl like a baby during it. I love it. Well,
you can put it on the chalkboard for things we're going to cover. How's that? We can come back to that. Also, another one of the screenplay writers, Peter Bellward, Patriot Games, 1992. Oh, yeah. So there's a good amount of talent that went into this, and the other screenwriter, Larry Ferguson, who. The Hunt for Red October, and Beverly Hills Cop 2. So there's some real pedigree here. Mm-hmm. So, good writing behind it. It's I think it's an absolutely epic story. I mean, it was filmed in 1985, released in March 7th, 1986 in America. Sorry, I didn't get the UK release date, but I imagine it was within a month of it. Doesn't really matter. It came out. We saw it. And evidently we loved it because the film fared far better in Europe and Japan than it actually did in America. Because I do believe, it had a budget of $19 million. And in the American box office, it took $12.9 million. Yeah,
didn't do well at all.
The thing I couldn't do is I couldn't find any figures for what it took for the rest of the world. I'm sure they're out there, but, there's only so much time in a day.
I never actually came across a worldwide.
So it wasn't just me then.
No, it was just local 19 or the budget for it. And then it would differ between 12 and 13 and all that, but never worldwide stats on it. So.
Oh, yeah, cool. So, no, because I'd wondered if I was just being really epically rubbish at research. I could not find a figure. Anyway, it did well enough in Europe and Japan that it spawned multiple sequels, terrible sequels that I don't even want to talk about. A TV series, 2 TV series to be precise, an animated get over it, Kat. It's Real Impact. We talk about films, not TV series.
It's fine.
So we've got a whole segment for your TV show coming up.
Oh, I know. I'm waiting patiently.
I'm just going to clarify for a few people here. Kat don't like the TV show for any other reason than she told me she fancies the lead man.
Duh. Who doesn't? What?
I don't fancy him.
Who hasn't had a huge crush on Duncan MacLeod? Let's just get that out there, okay? I cannot be the only one that had a huge mega crush on Duncan MacLeod. I looked forward every week to see him chop somebody's head off. I mean, come on.
Always a good reason to have his shirt off. I mean, he was in good shape. Anyway, back to the film, so you can bringing you back to the subject we're on. Although I did create this diversion myself. Yes. Anyway, with cast. Starring the one, the only, of course, there's only one of anybody. Christopher Lambert as Connor MacLeod. There's lots of notable films. I've got a few written down from here. Greystoke. I love that film. I don't know if you've ever seen Greystoke, The Legend of Tarzan. Great film.
I've seen part of it. I haven't seen all of it.
It's well worth watching. And the other film, which I know him from, he was Raiden in Mortal Kombat. So...
yeah, he was, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, Mr. Zappy Electric-y man. There's a thing about Christopher Lambert and electrical shit going on around him, isn't there? Yeah. Oh, of course. Beowulf 99 as well. I got that one. And what else? We got Fortress in 92. So, interestingly, if you think... In the film, they actually reference it, because in the film, he goes under the pseudonym, if that's the correct way of saying it, of Russell Nash, because he has lived through the centuries. He was born in Scotland 400 or 500 years before, and he's now in modern day New York, 1985 New York, and he takes up the name Russell Nash. And when he's arrested, where are you from, Nash? You sound funny. Lots of different places, as he says in the film. That line was inserted quite simply because Christopher Lambert, he had to learn English for this film pretty much. He only had very simple, basic English.
I honestly didn't know he was French. And I would have never knew that going in, because I still didn't know until I rewatched it. And I was like, wait, he had to learn English for this role? Like, that's pretty impressive. He did great.
He had to learn English. He had to learn how to fight with swords.
Yep.
You know, it was quite a demanding role. So
Absolutely.
Christopher Lambert in the lead role, of course. Mm-hmm. We also had the epic Sean Connery as, and if I can say this right, Juan Sanchez Villalobos Ramirez.
Good enough for me.
Good enough for me. I couldn't pronounce the director's name, but I had a bloody good crack at that.
It's Sean Connery. You got to learn his name.
Yeah, so we've got a French dude. We've got a French dude playing a Scottish dude, and a Scottish dude playing an Egyptian dude.
It's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's all going well. It's all going well. Oh God, I'll bring that comment. I'm seeing some. I'm going to bring some comments up in a bit, but I think Pabs might be winding you up. Yeah, of course. Do we need to go into the background of films that Sean Connery has done? Do we really? I've just written down James Bond films. There's plenty. The Rock loads it. He's James Bond. He's the first James Bond on film. It'll always be that to me. I'm sure you in the chat can go, he's done this, he's done this, he's done this, he's James Bond. So, fantastic in the role.
Yeah.
And he's amazing. And apparently all his scenes, I think they were only filmed in just over a week. Yes. It was a week, actually.
Yeah.
And he got paid $1 million for that because he kept saying to the director that he did not think that they would get all his bits filmed, but they did. And Kat, I knew it already, but do you want to give those in attendance an awesome fact about the little intro speech that he reads at the start of the film?
Yeah, so I looked into it because I was like, because it's echoey when he's doing his little monologue and stuff like that. And he actually filmed it in the bathroom or recorded it in the bathroom, which I didn't think that they did that. But yeah, it was the fact that he just filmed it in there. And then I also read up that he almost quit because of how demanding this job was for him and the role and how action-packed it was for him. So it would not have been the same if he quit. I'll say that. Like I thought he was great in this. So he
was excellent. And to give you an idea of how demanding the role was, I mean, this film. One thing I will commend this film for is it has a montage. It's the 80s. if you're not gonna have a montage, it's not an 80s film. So,
Correct.
When Ramirez is training Connor MacLeod, I would nearly said Duncan. Then that's you. That's your influence.
Yes.
When Ramirez is training Connor, who, you know, he's been cast out from his village, start of the film. The MacLeods go to war. He dies. He comes back to life. His village are spooked. I'm not going to go too into the story of the film because I would assume that most of you have actually seen this film.
Right.
But anyway, the montage scene to it. They do a running on the beach scene, which reminds me very much of Rocky 3. You know, when Apollo and Rocky are running on the beach.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally got that too.
The up close shots were Sean Connery, and the long distance shots were a stunt double. And apparently, I picked this up on IMDb. Apparently, if you look when it cuts between scenes, that the stunt guy is running like a mofo, going for it. But Sean Connery's little legs. I mean, he's not a short guy. I don't know why I say little. He's a lot taller than I. He was a lot taller than I am. He's no longer with us. But yeah, apparently that's one giveaway. So apparently it's a real bad goof in the film. And once you notice it, you can never unsee it. So you were all welcome for that little fact.
Yeah, he tries to run so fast. Bless his little heart. He just run, but yeah. They don't handle the stunt doubles very well.
He should have laid off of those vodka martinis and all that fine dining, I think. But no, he does some cool sword work in the film. I mean, he's awesome. He's epic. I mean, spoiler alert, however many years on, he dies. We know he dies at the hands of the Kurgan. And the Kurgan is, of course, played by Clancy Brown. Oh, I love Clancy Brown in this movie. Oh, my God. He is absolutely bloody brilliant in this. Scary, menacing. Oh, God. I'm going to give you a few of his notable films: Shawshank Redemption, Starship Troopers. I do. When I read that earlier, I was like, oh yeah, of course he was in Starship Troopers. Pet Sematary 2. I've not seen that. I've seen Pet Sematary, not Pet Sematary 2. And most famously, he is, and get ready for this, Kat. He is Mr. Krabs in SpongeBob SquarePants. He is the voice of Mr. Krabs.
As soon as I heard it, I was like, wait a minute. Because I knew his face, but that was like that's. So I closed my eyes and I was playing his voice back. That's freaking Mr. Krabs. And so I had to look it up. Yeah, it's Mr. Krabs. Love it. I
took his. I'm not even going to try and do his voice because when you watch the film, you've all seen the film, I assume. Of course, Ramirez almost takes his head because the film, there can be only one. They're all mortals. They're all battling for the prize. The prize. The prize. Bit of a crap prize, really, because you become mortal and die, although you know everything. But then he can have kids at the end of it. But yeah, no, Ramirez almost takes his head, slices his throat in that fight in the castle. Yeah. And of course, Connery says the line, "Oh, I've improved your voice." And the rest of the film, he speaks with a much rougher voice. And of course, he's got a scar on his neck. But no, Clancy Brown, throughout this film, I read in several places that he wouldn't drop character. He wouldn't break character.
Really?
And really, and he was freaking the cast out. He's a big menacing dude. I mean, another thing I would say a lot of you in the chat I know have watched recently is The Penguin. He was in The Penguin, Clancy Brown. So
I haven't seen that.
Oh, I can't remember. Someone in the chat will say, but I can't remember the name of the gangster. Was it the Marconis? He was the head of one of the families. Brain's gone dead, but he was in the film. In the TV series. I'm not going to say too much because some people haven't finished it. So I really don't want to ruin that for anyone because it's a bloody epic TV series. Yeah. And of course, he was, before that, the last thing I saw him in was Dexter New Blood. He was the main bad guy in that. Yeah. Pretty bloody menacing in that as well.
He was so creepy in this movie, like in the church scene, like him, like yelling, just licking the priest's hand and stuff. And I was like, oh, gross.
I am but a worm.
He creeped me out so much of that. I was like, okay, I really hate this. He did.
Oh, and he fully commits to that hand lick.
Yeah. That wasn't like, you can barely see it, or it's a trick. No. He committed.
Yeah. That was some tongue on hand action. It was awful.
So gross.
Of course, there are other people in this film, and I'm going to go into a few more. I just want to say hello to a couple more people who have arrived in the chat before we go over some of the sort of background characters in the film. There are other people. Who else have we had show up this evening? Who else have we had show up? I wish StreamYard had an easier system. Darth Wizzy Wizard. He says hello all. Hey Darth Wizzy.
Hey.
Good to see you, man. I haven't seen you for a while. Thanks for popping along. I hope you are doing well, sir. Well, we've also been joined by the green uns will make you badly, Mrs. S, our Vic. Hello, Vic. Thank you for joining us this evening. So, Kieran Ball's got a fun fact for us. I just well read it. Fun fact about Clancy: he appeared in the pilot episode of Sleepy Hollow TV show and dies being decapitated by the Headless Horseman. Well. He's being typecast, clearly. Oh, I think Kat's frozen for a moment. So, are you back?
I don't know. I didn't freeze on my side.
You're back. You're back. Good enough. You had a little blip. Never mind. You're here. Yeah. So yeah, we've had those new arrivals this evening. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Let's have. I'll tell you what. I've done something a bit different tonight. Rather than me just reading little bits off of IMDb, what I can do here with the magic of Tinternet, we can go for a couple more of the cast. Of course, we've already gone through Christopher Lambert as Connor MacLeod, Sean Connery as Juan Sanchez Villalobos Ramirez. They've crapped out here, Kat. They've just put Ramirez. I mean,
they took the easy way out. Yeah.
Clancy Brown there as the Kurgan, and this is a slightly older picture of him, so he might seem a little bit more familiar to you. That I'm going to bring this person. I'm new. How are you, Kim? How are you doing? Good to see you this evening.
Thanks for
Thank you for coming along.
Yes.
We have the modern day love interest, Roxanne Hart. Why have you just clicked on her, Nick? Let's go back. I don't know why I did that. Oh, great. Now we get the pop-ups. Thank you for that. Yeah, playing Brenda, what's her role in the film? She's what's her official title?
She's like the what is it?
Is she a metallurgist?
Something like forensics.
She does forensics.
She annoys me.
Studies swords. Yeah, she's really annoying.
I didn't like her. I did not like her one bit.
Of course, she is the modern day sort of love interest, but the heartbreaking one I probably should have gone to first. B.T. Edney or Heather, his first wife, and that's the tragic part of this film for me. It's especially when Ramirez is saying you need to leave her, and how he talks about his wife and how her father made him the sword in Japan, and Ramirez is passing on advice, but no, Connor's truly in love with her, stays with her to her dying days as an old lady. I looked over at Carla last night. I said, "Are you crying?" Because she'll cry at anything, Carla. She's like, no. I bet you are.
There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. All right. My allergies are getting to me. It's fine. Listen.
And but no, that's the thing about this film. It's a layered film because you go through the ages in the film from Scotland to modern day New York. You get to see him through other time periods in the film. Sadly, no longer with. You've just done it again, Nick. You've just clicked her name. What are you doing, mate? Sheila Gish. Sadly, no longer with us, as I found. Oh, thank you, Amazon. I don't want to watch for $749, but there we go. And playing Rachel Elstein, the little girl that he saves in the Second World War, who goes on to run his shop. Clearly very in love with Connor, but Connor being the father figure. And every show me and Kat do together, there's always the Star Wars connection, isn't there?
Yes, always.
But there's two here. So we've got Christopher Malcolm. Now, for me, simply put, I think we wrote down the names. We did a little bit of research together on this one, but I know him as Rogue 2 from The Empire Strikes Back. What's his official name? You wrote it down, didn't you? Svez something?
Oh, yes. It is Sved Senka or something. Senka.
Yeah, now there's people in this chat who know far more about Star Wars characters than I ever will, and I'm sure they will correct us, but the guy here, Peter Diamond, who plays Ermin Facile, the first guy that Connor battles when he leaves the wrestling match in the car park, or as me and Kat started to lovingly call him, Mr. Backflip, because what was it you said, Kat?
I said, why walk, why run when you're in a fight when you can do a constant backflip? That's much cooler and easier, right? It's faster, it's a better way to travel. I'm just going to constantly do a backflip. Sure, why not?
He's also a bloody good magician, because at one point he loses his glasses and the next minute he's got them back on again. But there we go.
You know, he was very like robot-like. He was also just kind of just looking around or just standing there like he was weird. He was weird. And then he just starts backflipping. I was like, I don't know what.
Yeah, I mean, but that really sets the tone of the film, because you sort of have that scene, and then you know, a few minutes into the film, you got a straight up decapitation, and then you really get a feel for it. You're like, bloody hell, we're cutting heads off, are we? Yeah. All right, here we go. Here we go.
I also thought it was very 80s that it starts at a wrestling match.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, that's classic.
And apparently that
cool.
You know, it's MSG Madison Square Garden. So I looked into it. So at that period in time, that would have been the WWF used to do shows there, because at that time it was all segmented over the country. So there you go for people who are into their wrestling. Yep. But anyway, Peter Diamond, Ermin Facile. I'm not going to go too much into any other characters. We've got to get through the other meat and bones of this. Yep. There's a few more on screen there for those looking. But Kat, did you write down any of what I told you, or have I got to go from memory?
No. He was a Tusken Raider that attacked Luke. So that one. Yeah. He was in Empire. He was in Return of the Jedi. He was a stormtrooper, a Death Star trooper. He was a cantina guy. He was a snowtrooper, gunner. And he was also in Raiders of the Lost Ark. Don't remember what character in that, but he was in that.
Yeah, basically a lot of Lucasfilm stuff, and I do believe he was the biker scout that got thrown off of the bike.
That's right. Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, huge cast on this. We could literally burn up the evening going through the credits of the cast, but we must persevere with the show. Let's get back to my notes. So yeah, there we have your cast. So I think what I should probably do, if I can find where I wrote it, probably not. What am I doing? Reading out my synopsis I done. I can just
hold on. I gotta say hello to my buddy Gil from France. Gil, hello. Thank you for coming. So good to see you, my friend. Okay.
Thank you for coming along. Thank you for joining the show. That's very cool. Very cool. Good to have you here. Welcome anytime. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the film, I could find my written synopsis. Bunch of immortals traveling through time, taking each other's head, pulled in by the quickening. The gathering is when the final ones come together. The last standing immortal, the last one with his head, they get the prize. And the prize is, well, as we find out later in the film, is knowing everything. Knowledge, the ability to age, the ability to have children. That is the prize. But through all of that, you get to explore the life that Connor has had through the centuries. So ultimately, Connor does win the prize. He does beat the Kurgan. There's lots of cool stuff that goes on. In a second, I'm gonna have a quick look at the chat, see if we've had any other comments pop up. But then I think we can't really discuss this movie without going into the music, can we? We're gonna have to go into the music of this film.
Absolutely.
But let's have a little look, see who else we've had in. Hang on, I think you've already done it. I think it was your friend Gil.
Yeah.
Oh, it was. There we go. So the thing is, I don't want to miss anyone out, because people make the effort to come in and chat. I like to bring the.
You just had a new one pop into chat.
The Smirking Bear Studio. Hello, fellow nerds and nerdettes. Hello.
Hi, Bear. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us.
Yes.
So I have got some other notes here before we go into music. Apparently, now you've got some details on this. The idea for Highlander came from a UCLA student, Gregory Wyden, who was inspired by a trip to Scotland and ancient graves he saw there. But what was it you had? You had slightly different information to me on that.
So it had said that when he was looking at the armor and stuff like that, he was kind of thinking, what if that guy was around today? Like what he would have been like, what his life would have been like living through all of that time. And then it also said that he was inspired by the 77 movie, The Duelist, which I've never seen. I've never even heard of it. So I don't know if anybody in the chat has, but apparently he pulled inspiration from that. And when he was writing it for school. And then he had also labeled it when he was in school, he called it not Highlander, but he called it Shadow Clan, which I thought wasn't bad.
Yeah, so I didn't come across that. I can expand a little bit more on now I've actually found the right section on my notes. I just as well do it as the origin of the Immortals. The film introduces a race of warriors who cannot die unless beheaded, each with unique backgrounds, trainings, and motives. So yeah, that's the origin of them. The Gathering, the concept of the all remaining Immortals being drawn to a final confrontation, Monday, New York. Pretty much what I said. So I remembered my notes at least somewhat for once. And cool fact, The Gathering, the concept was partly inspired by Arthurian legends and the idea of a final showdown for a great prize. Which, as I've already said, the prize is the prize. Yeah. Just give me the prize.
I didn't like it. I didn't like the final prize.
Okay,
I want a refund.
Okay, so because next I'm probably gonna probably jump into the music next.
Yeah.
Just because I said it a couple of minutes ago.
Right.
What would you have thought the prize should have been? Because it surprised me when I was younger to find out that he was then mortal. Because to me, like, a prize would be being immortal and having all that knowledge. But then is it? I don't know.
Well,
what do you think?
Okay, so he's already immortal, right? Okay, cool.
Unless you cut his head off, yeah.
Right. But the prize, he now gets to hear everybody's thoughts and this kind of stuff, their hopes, their dreams, their fears, whatever. And then, we'll just make them grow into old age. You're not going to do anything with that power. Then why give that power? That's what I don't understand is why would they say, okay, you can hear all this, you can do this with mankind, but now we're going to cut your life off. To me, that makes no sense to that. I wondered
with the prize if they actually knew fully what the prize was if the characters knew what the prize was going to be.
Yeah.
Because Ramirez says something about if the Kurgan wins, there'll be centuries of darkness, the human race we plunged into, whatever the line is.
Right.
So maybe the prize is different to each person because Connor, he's upset in the film because he wanted to have children with Heather, and that's one of the sort of heart-wrenching moments in the film. So maybe it's different per one. Yeah. No, say what you're going to say, Kat. You're good.
So it's like good versus evil. The evil guy wins. Terror takes over type thing. Good guy wins. Everybody's fine. It just stays the same.
or maybe they just did not know what it was going to be. Because I think the idea of Connor and it's explored in the sequel, Highlander 2, The Quickening, which we really won't go that much into because it's terrible and had so many re-edits and they really can't make it a good film. I think the idea is all this knowledge is so that Connor can unite the human race and bring peace. That's sort of the concept that I get. Yeah. I could be somewhat wrong. I don't know. It's a little bit left open to interpretation.
Terry put in what he said the prize was, which I think is
which I think is what I was touching on. The prize of being able to choose what you want. Connor wanted to be mortal and have a normal life. So perhaps that is what the prize is, and perhaps the Kurgan, because when you do some of the background story that's been fleshed out over the years from things like comics and that, apparently the Kurgan served Oh, under oh God, why can't I remember his name? Terrible Conqueror. Guy went around. It'll come to me.
I don't remember his name either, but I know who you're talking about.
Yes, it will come to me in a minute. Why has my brain just gone dead? But yeah, no, he was the Mongol guy. In charge of them. Genghis Khan. Thank you so much, brain, for finally giving me that knowledge back. Do you know what my prize would be? My prize would be having a better bloody memory.
Good prize. Good prize. Good prize.
But yeah, no, to hear all those, well, that would drive me insane. I have enough trouble listening to my own inner voice, let alone dealing with the thoughts of people on the planet.
Right? No. Hard pass. Hard pass. I'm good. I can survive, barely survive in my own head. I don't need others.
Cheers for joining us, Zombie. You have a good evening.
Thank you.
So yeah, so that's the prize. So now I think that's what I was alluding to, and Terry says it himself. So the prize being what you want it to be. So yeah, Connor. I guess at the end of the film, you would assume that him and Brenda are now together. Mm-hmm. He's going to have kids. He's going to live the life that he couldn't have with Heather. So yeah,
right.
So there is that. Kieran's put a fact up here. Sorry, Kieran, I need to get glasses, mate. The Duelist was a British movie from 1977, directed by Ridley Scott and starred Harvey Keitel and Keith Carradine. There we go. Thank you so much, Kieran, for inserting that knowledge. We have also been joined by Dave's Dimensions. Says, hey all. Dave, I did see your comment early the other day when you put there can be only one in the chat, but I think it just vanished because it had been a few days and no one had been in the chat yet. But no, thank you so much for joining us this evening. I also want to say hello to Travels and More with Jason.
Hey, Jason.
What's up? Khan, thank you. He's given us the name there, Genghis Khan. Yeah, thank you. All those people there, they must have been screaming at the screen, Genghis Khan, Genghis Khan. Welcome to ADHD. It strikes at its finest moments.
It's awesome.
But then perhaps they're alluding to like what Palpatine Khan from Star Trek. So maybe they're making a Star Trek reference. I don't know. I'm getting lost here.
No.
So and Dave's put here the prize is all the knowledge to lead or destroy the world and the ability to age and like Immortal and have a child. Yeah, I mean there is that side to it, but like Terry said, there's and look, no one's right or wrong here, not at all. I'm not disagreeing for one moment, but I think some people are of the belief that it's the prize varies per Immortal, different motivations, but. No, I guess if you've lived for hundreds or some of them thousands of years, because Ramirez is a lot older than Highlander, which is one of the things which I found a bit weird in the film, that some were born later than others, but I don't think they...
He was over 2,000, right? He was like 21, a little over 2,100 years, something like that, right?
Yeah, and isn't the start of the film in the year of our Lord 1536 or something, the guy says at the start of the film, around that time. So Connor's presumably late 20s, maybe just touching on his 30s at that point. So but Ramirez is a hell of a lot older than him, because of course what's he said his wife's name was it Kiko, and he served her father, who made the sword for Ramirez. That, of course, Connor takes on. But yeah, it's a film. Let's not think into it too much. I mean, as I say, there's been a comic book series that has fleshed it all out if people want sort of an extended universe on it. But yeah, we've done all that. We've covered what all these things are. But yeah, the thing I really want to get into here, do you think we should, before we go into any of the other bits, should we get into the music? Should we, Kat?
Yes. I had to talk about the music for sure.
So, Kat, in case anyone's missed the film, I haven't been paying attention, and while I'm sliding down to my notes, who were that famous English band? Who did the music for this film?
Oh, they weren't a really big group. They're really small. They're just a little group known by Queen.
Oh, just Queen.
Just Queen. Yeah. No, and I find it that they were actually going to only do one song until they actually saw footage, and then they're like, oh crap, and then they did a whole more. So I will have to say comparing it just because I'm going to with the 92,
Yep, go for it.
it can't touch it because of the soundtrack. Like that, I mean, I can see why now it's a cult classic with the 86 and everything like that, but you cannot touch that soundtrack. It is from start to finish. I have no problems with that soundtrack. I absolutely love it. They hit it on the head. So absolutely.
So one of the reasons this film would have come about that my dad would have watched it is because, like Flash Gordon, which we've already done, and after this episode, if you want to see me and Kat on, would it have been the first or second episode we did of Real Impact, before we officially named the show, we did the Flash Gordon stream, didn't we?
Yeah.
And of course, Queen had already famously done the soundtrack for that. So, yeah, Queen soundtrack, several original songs for the film. There is an official, I've looked it up, there is an official soundtrack for the film, which is now really expensive if you want to buy it. I saw a copy today. I think it's like 50 quid for a copy of it. And of course, that's got Queen songs plus a chap called Michael Kamen did the underscore of the film. Okay. Before we go into what Michael Kamen's done, Queen, as I say, several songs for the film. The most famous one being Princes of the Universe, which is Here We Are. Yeah, that one. I'm not going to sing. I'm terrible at singing. We don't need to hear that. Which I do also believe was used for the intro of the TV series as well. Probably the only Queen song they used in it. Mm-hmm. But of course, they had that song and Who Wants to Live Forever, which I believe the reason they wrote more, to your point, Kat, now correct me if I'm wrong here, they saw footage and Brian May was inspired to write that when he saw the relationship between Heather and Connor.
That's what I read. Yeah, no, 100% with that. Yeah.
Because a lot of people do think that the album A Kind of Magic, the Queen album, is the official soundtrack to this film. And do you know what? I thought it was as well.
Yeah.
It's bloody not. I mean, I grew up in a house surrounded by Queen stuff, but it just as well be, because it's got Princes of the Universe on it, Who Wants to Be Forever, A Kind of Magic. And that's the moment in the film. I looked over at Carla last night, you know, when it's with Rachel, little girl, and he gets shot, and I went, here comes the cheesiest line of the film. Get ready for it. Hey, it's a kind of magic.
That's also really creepy.
Yeah.
I met this girl laying on top of her, and hey, it's a kind of magic. Okay,
moments before, you got to feel for that girl.
But she was totally like, "You're not dead, okay?" Like, just totally accepts it. It's fine. Not like, what is going on?
Yeah, but do remember, just moments before, she looks at Connor. He goes up to introduce himself. Everybody's dead.
Yeah, just
take it in your stride.
Cool. You're a very well-adjusted kid. All right, cool.
And I love this film, but it's the one scene in the film, because of course the Kurgan gets mowed down at one point in the film when he's fighting Castigear in the alleyway. Yeah. And I do believe the guy who mowed down the Kurgan was also in Star Wars as well, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm. He was. It was oh my gosh. Christopher Malcolm. Yeah. He was Kurt in Highlander. Yeah. He's the one that used the machine gun in the alley.
Isn't he Rogue 2 though? He is Rogue 2. That's what right. Okay. Yeah. So just tripping over my own. Yeah.
Which, can I just say, another Star Wars thing is apparently a giant sword to the gut, you can survive just like now you can survive lightsabers to the gut. So just throwing that out there.
What's that I know we're dancing off the Queen music here. We will go back into the music, but it's the moment when he gets up and he picks him up like a skewer. And then he just sort of picks him up and just sort of launches him.
And hey, I'm still alive, guys. Sure. Okay. All right. Fantastic.
Yeah, and of course, the other song in the film that comes to memory for some reason I didn't write down is "Don't Lose Your Head." Queen, yeah, heavily involved with the soundtrack. It's iconic. I mean, even from the beginning of the film, it's you know, when that film starts with the "Here we are," you know, after Sean Connery's epic line, which is recorded, you say bathroom, I say toilet, potato, whatever it is they say.
It's all good.
but it sets the tone. There's something about Queen doing a soundtrack for a film. And it's so good. And I've already said that a chap called Michael Kamen did the underscore, and other films he did were Die Hard 1988, so he's no slouch. Lethal Weapon 1987, Robin Hood Prince of Thieves in 1991, the X-Men film from 2000, The Iron Giant from 1999. God, that was a boring film.
Hey.
Didn't Vin Diesel
Giant
voice Iron Giant? Anyway, this is a stream about Highlander.
Hey, don't touch Iron Giant. He's a classic.
Okay, we at risk of upsetting Kat and Kat storming off the stream. The Iron Giant. It's a fantastic film. Go and watch it.
It is.
You didn't have to do a blooming GCSE on it though, did you? I had to. That's the difference.
Gladly would have. I love that film.
So there we go.
Real quick, I just want to say hello to not Connor but Brian. How goes it? Thank you for coming.
Yeah. I will jump straight back into the chat in a sec. Let's do that. Let's do it. We've got it, haven't we? So we've had Connor Fuller arrive.
No, that's Brian. Connor. That's Brian, not Connor. It's Brian.
I know, but I don't want to put into the trap here of you. Not every Irish.
You said it in chat. He's never gonna let me live it down, but that's fine. That's fine.
No, because you thought it was Brian, didn't you?
No, I knew it was Connor, but you know how you got all these names running through and you just spit one out, like you just do it and you're like, yeah, but you're thinking, yeah, it just happened. It happened. Whatever.
Nightmare. We've also been joined by GeForce Racing 20 RG. Sup, G? How you doing, man? Thank you for coming along this evening.
Yes, thank you.
Have I missed anyone else? I don't know if I have. What's it, Jason saying that? Wow, your t-shirt, Nick. I believe I know one of them guys. He's a flatmate who's a pain in the arsehole. Well, that shirt. That's what AI thinks me and Monkey Boy look like. that's what that is. Good old AI. Just checking that I haven't missed any other excellent comments. I could do, and I say this every show. If I bypass any of your comments, please don't think that I'm ignoring you. We're not. There's so many comments come up, and it's just keeping up. But we do appreciate your comments. We do. Yes, we do. TJC put another comment in referring to the prize, though. The prize also alluded to by Queen, the song Who Wants to Live Forever, as it mentions having everything decided for them. Connor had to watch his wife die and the pain was too much. Hence, he's continued it. Hence the reason he wanted to be mortal. Yeah, he did. He wanted. But fortunately, he won. He won. And so what I will say, because I've been neglecting slides this evening. I always neglect slides, but we've been talking these characters just to jump through a few I've made. Obviously, we're jumping back here because I'm terrible. Kat, you're gonna have to remind me to bring up slides. I make them. I don't ever use them.
I got distracted. I'm sorry. I forgot. I got distracted.
Just to go over quick, I've made them. Let's use them. We've got there the guy looking like a peacock, which I believe Connor refers to him as in the film. Was it the great Spanish peacock he referred to him as?
No,
I'm not Spanish. I'm Egyptian. He says, or something or other.
Yeah. Oh man.
But we got Sean Connery there as Ramirez, and this is all in he's training Connor. We got the Kurgan there before he beheads him. Obviously Clancy Brown, I say obviously, but Clancy Brown is the Kurgan, the most terrifying bad guy ever. And I'm just jumping through these quick because I want to get to this slide of the end of the final showdown, right? The final showdown. So we've seen the film. We know it starts on the roof. Brenda's tied up there, which she sort of survives that peril herself.
She's so annoying. I hate her. I hate Brenda, but that's fine.
I still love the fact earlier in the film that she loads the 45 and she sets the tape recorder and she leaves him in a room while she goes to do whatever. And you suspect this guy, Russell Nash, who is actually Connor MacLeod.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Let's just leave a weapon available for him. That's
just-
cool.
yeah. We think this guy's been cutting off heads. He's already showed up earlier in the film at a bar. Really creepy of him because it's a bit. Obviously, he wants to find out. Yeah. Anyway, back to this. At the final fight, Brenda's on the Silver Cup sign, top of the building. But the reason I wanted to show this slide is because have you seen the music video for this film? For this song, Princes of the Universe, I should say.
No, I did not look that up. I forgot.
So-
I didn't realize there was. I know there are music videos generally, but I didn't even think about looking up the music video for it.
So unfortunately, I couldn't find a picture that wasn't completely. Let's see if I can enlarge this full screened out. Right. So down there, you'll see the band where all the sort of scaffolding was for the Silver Cup sign underneath the kind of Magic album artwork, right? And there's a reason I wanted to bring up that slide from the end of the film. Exit full screen layout. There we go. Sorry, reading aloud the commands. The music video for Queen, for Princes of the Universe the music video takes place on that building where the final showdown is. And at one point, and I wished I could find a high enough resolution picture of it. Freddie Mercury famously used to have his microphone with the mic stand disconnected, the part of the boom of the mic stand.
Right.
Freddie starts fighting Connor MacLeod with his microphone stand.
Really?
Yes,
Oh,
really.
okay.
That happens. That is a thing. And as you can see there, the band are sort of dressed as Connor did in the film anyway. So
I'm gonna have to look that up.
it is fantastic. And it's so good. And if I wouldn't get a copyright claim or whatever, I would love to show that clip.
I found it, so I have it ready to go for as soon as this is over. I'm gonna watch it. So
okay. But guys,
because there's only one. So does he win? Does Freddie Mercury win? Like,
well, it does. They don't expand on it too much.
oh,
but
come on.
But yeah, while we're on the subject of music, dipping in and out and jumping all over the place as usual. There's the artwork there for the Kind of Magic album, which is really weird artwork. If you've ever seen the video for Kind of Magic with those like animated characters floating around and Freddie dressed almost like Merlin from, was it Merlin in the Marvel series? Defenders of the Earth? Yeah. Looking very much like him. Yeah. And then to reference that bottom right-hand corner, the Highlander album artwork there with the yellow text, that is really expensive, but that is the actual 50 odd quid. Yeah, but that's the one that's got the songs from the score of Michael Kamen on it, and the songs used in the film by Queen. But yeah, pretty much if you own a Kind of Magic by Queen, you've got the songs. You haven't got the underscore songs, but you've got them. So yeah, Queen are as big a part of this film as anything. And I just hope that when they inevitably, because apparently they're doing a remake, we'll go into this in a bit, I just hope that they use Princes of the Universe and they don't get someone to ruin it. Queen made this movie. This movie is great, but the soundtrack of Queen took this to the next level as far as I'm concerned.
It did. I don't think it would have hit differently without their music. Kind of like, when you think of Wayne's World, what do you think of? Bohemian Rhapsody, right?
Bohemian Rhapsody, the headbanging scene in the car.
That's what I think of. Like, they're very distinct and they make films stand out. And I don't think it would have had the same impact with that. I mean, don't get me wrong, the characters are great, the acting, the story, the action, all that, but Queen really tied it together. So I think it would have just hit differently. I don't think it would have been as good.
I just think, yeah, like Flash Gordon. When we did the Flash Gordon stream, I sort of said, what would have happened if Why do you laugh every time I mention Flash Gordon?
Because all I hear is every time somebody says Flash Gordon, all I hear is ah. Like that's all I hear is that stupid Flash Gordon song every time somebody says it.
You want to thank yourself lucky you don't live in the UK, because we've got a cleaning product called Flash, and of course they've reworded that song and redone it for the advert.
Of course they did. Yeah.
Of course they did. Why wouldn't they?
Why not?
I'm sure the remaining members of Queen aren't fussed when they're getting their royalty checks, but
No, not at all. Not at all.
yeah, no, Queen just make a soundtrack. They were absolutely epic. Just what's Gil put there? Mr. Raid and Connor, Christopher Lambert, Lowell. Yeah, I think he's alluding to what we said earlier about Christopher Lambert being Raiden in Mortal Kombat, playing another magical type person. And what's Jojo put here? One dream, one soul, one prize, one goal. No mortal man can win this day. Yes. The lyrics Queen use, you know, all referencing Highlander, all very well put together. So I love that soundtrack.
It's great. It's great.
It's absolutely, it's incredible. And Gil's put.
I was just gonna say it pumps you up because it's Queen, right? Like anytime you hear that, whether it's in a movie or just it pumps you up, and you're just like, oh, okay, and you just get excited with it. They're amazing group.
Well, the thing is, and we'll probably go into some other areas of Highlander in a moment. Briefly touch on sequels and that, but I believe in the quickening they did use Princes of the Universe, but Highlander 3, The Sorcerer, terrible, really terrible. I'm not going to recommend it to anyone.
I've been advised to stay away from 2 and 3, so I didn't even try to look into those. So
no, we can have a chat about that in a minute, but so today, for whatever reason, sat on YouTube. I thought, let's watch the final fight from Highlander 3, The Sorcerer, and it's got some really janky, dodgy, bad ripoff of Dr. Feelgood by Motley Crue playing in the background. And it's just like, you need Queen here, man. You need Queen. I mean, I'm guessing they would have had to have paid if they used Queen again. Maybe they didn't have the money, but no, honestly, if you want to hear the worst ripoff of Dr. Feelgood by Motley Crue ever, go watch the final sword fight from Highlander 3 on YouTube.
No, I'm good.
But the point of saying all that is just to say this film works because of Queen. And now anytime anything Highlander doesn't have the Queen music with it, it's become so heavily... It's all entwined for me. Yes. It's what's Gil put here? Great music with an awesome band. They really left such an imprint on movies and music. They did indeed. Mm-hmm. And what's Dave put here? Highlander 2 and 3 are skippable for canon's sake, especially if you love the TV show or Highlander Endgame. Oh, don't get me started on Endgame. But we will touch on it briefly. So let's get down to it then. Obviously, I know this is a stream about the film Highlander. We've spoken about the epic story. We've spoken about what the plot is. We've spoken about the music. But anything successful like this inevitably creates spin-offs and sequels. Now, we've just mentioned that there's Highlander 2, The Quickening, which has got multiple edits, because in one version the Immortals are aliens, and another version they're not. You know, yes, I said that, Kat.
Okay.
Yeah. No, that's a thing.
That's probably why I was told to skip it.
Well, yeah, okay, I'll touch on it briefly. The version I know from a kid that my dad had on VHS, it turns out that the Mortals was sent from another planet, and when they're on Earth, they have to battle for the prize to win to come back, and then magically Connor de-ages, and because he kills one of the people sent from that planet come back, and then he just calls out for Ramirez, and Ramirez comes back alive, and Sean Connery's it's just a big old mess, mate. It's a big old mess set in the future.
Sounds like
it's terrible, but do you go on? We got to do this. So inevitably it kicked off get it out of your system. It kicked off
Junket. Sorry. Okay, I'm done.
You done? You done? You happy now?
I am.
Right, well, mate, I did very little research on the TV show because I didn't really enjoy it as a kid. I watched the pilot episode again today just to see if it was as bad as I remember, and it was.
Yeah.
So, the Highlander TV series premiered in 1992, actually ran for 6 seasons. And do you want to give your little story of your connection to this, to give some people some background and context?
So you came to me and you're like, let's do Highlander. And I'm like, yeah, okay, great. I remember watching that as a kid. We didn't miss it every week. Like, we were like, if we were out, we were going to record it. We did not miss it. And you're like, no. The movie. What movie? Like, I had no idea it came from there. So I was kind of disappointed. But I know your grief. You said the show kind of completely changes the movie ending, and it kind of does that. And so it does. It's basically set in an alternate universe where Connor didn't get the ultimate prize. And obviously there's still a bunch of immortals after 1985. And that kind of just goes off from there. Now, I did watch again the pilot because I don't remember the pilot. I don't remember watching the pilot. So I watched it just because, Connor was supposed to be in it and all that kind of stuff. And it's definitely 1992 cheesiness that I still love. And it brought that nostalgia feeling. But I can see why you don't like it from watching the movie to that.
Okay. I've probably been a little bit unfair. I don't hate it. We did watch it when I was a kid because it used to be on Sky One in the UK. Mm-hmm. But being as I saw the movie first, and I remember, because I said to you today before I watched the pilot, 'cause we had a quick call, got the stream tonight, any last notes we want to go over, the usual stuff we do before we do one of these.
Right.
And I pretty much described to you before I watched it, I remembered from all those years ago, pretty much described the start of the show, didn't I? I could remember enough of it. And Connor coming in, and that excited me as a kid because it was Connor MacLeod.
Yeah.
And of course, the main lead in the show is Duncan MacLeod. He's played by a chap called Adrian Paul. Buff guy, long dark hair, tall, dark and handsome. How Kat likes him. Clearly.
I like many different types, but he's just one that I happen to like. It's fine. Connor's hot too, but they're just different. That's all.
Do you think Christopher Lambert's hot too?
Yeah, hello. He's gorgeous.
Okay, no, that's fine. Look, I don't look at him that way.
He's gorgeous.
I'm asking.
He's gorgeous. I'm just telling you, he's gorgeous too. But they're just different. I appreciate all kinds. I don't have a one single type. I like all kinds. I'm not
right.
picky.
I got to bring this comment up from Connor. Okay, I've just cleaned my screen and realised that the black mark over Kat is part of the logo behind the thing. Yeah, so the logo behind us is the Highlander text. And had I have realised it was going to cause this annoyance for people, I would have absolutely have changed it. What we got here? We've also been joined by Mr. B. So we got to say, sup, Mr. B. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
GeForce, cleaned your screen. Enough said. Yeah. So to go back to, I don't think it's as terrible as I say. I think my only real problem with it is the fact that they pulled Connor MacLeod in. Yeah. And I almost think it would have been better to just not pull in anything from the film, just to have it as its own alternative timeline.
Right.
Because, of course, that led to, excuse me, talking dries you out. That led to the TV film. Well, was it a TV film? Was it? I think it may have been released at cinema, maybe not. I remember renting this Highlander Endgame in the year 2000. My notes here says blended elements from the film series and TV show featuring Connor and Duncan MacLeod. And if I recall, because I've not written down a synopsis for it, there's the big bad guy. The way it works in the TV series, correct me if I'm wrong, Kat, is the more immortals heads you've taken, the stronger you are as an immortal.
Yes.
Which isn't really well, it doesn't cover. It doesn't say that in the film. That may or may not be the case because, of course, the Kurgan boasts through the film, "I'm the strongest one of all of you." So maybe that is how it works. But it's deemed. There's a scene in the film where Connor begs Duncan to take his head because Duncan won't be strong enough to beat the bad guy without absorbing his essence. Mm-hmm. And that just really pissed me off, killing off Connor MacLeod.
Yeah.
It just did. That's my thing. And yeah, and of course, you can't help aging. Aging is what it is. We all age. But even in 2000, watching it, you know, you can see that Christopher Lambert was starting to visibly age quite a bit. And I just found it a bit... That's my thing. I have got nothing but respect for people who enjoy the TV series. It is its own thing. But when you are primarily a fan of the film...
Right.
Am I making sense, Kat? It's kind of hard for to accept that crossover.
No. Okay. So and there was a comment that I didn't know about the movie. I only grew up on the TV series. I've never heard of that there was, I knew there was like a cartoon and some other stuff, but I never knew there was an 86 film. So I think you go with, and you relate more to nostalgia, what you grew up to, what you're used to. I'm always going to pick Duncan because that's what I grew up with. That's what I have the most memories for. So I'm always going to choose Duncan. Now, can I appreciate this film and think it's a cult classic? Absolutely. I love it. It's a great film. And I can see your point of it's BS versus the show, you know, compared with the show and how they kind of, I agree with you. I think they should have left Connor out of it. And just, if it's already an alternate universe, leave it alone. I don't think they should have brought him in any way whatsoever.
I mean, I think I understand the reason they did bring him in, because if you bring Christopher Lambert in, it's going to bring how many eyes to the show?
It is.
You want this show to be... So I understand it from a marketing point. Gil's put here, I prefer the first movie over the TV show, but the TV show kept its charm to the main series, not the extended universe with Raven. So I didn't really get caught with that. So... Excuse me. So when I brought up this slide earlier, you will see there that you've got Highlander with Duncan on, and you've got Highlander Raven. I've got very brief notes on it. I can't really say too much about it. I mean, ultimately, this is about the film, but Highlander Raven, it's a spin-off from the Highlander TV show, you know, Kat.
Yeah.
It centers on a character called Amanda. She's an immortal. It lasted one season.
I didn't like it.
Oh, so you have watched it? So
I watched part of it, but I stopped it because I hated it. Like I don't care. I don't want to rewatch it. I don't even want to give it like, as soon as I watched it, I was like, what is this crap? Give me Duncan back. Like I was very upset. Like I did not like her at all.
So you feel about Raven, you're getting the same vibes
how you feel about Duncan. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and it is just one of those things, isn't it? But while we're on it, because we've been going an hour, nearly an hour and a quarter now. Blooming heck. I will go back into I'll have a little look in the chat in a moment, but there was this as well. Oh God. Highlander, the animated series. I hated this as a kid. I absolutely hated this as a kid. I probably watched 2 episodes as a kid. They don't even cut each other's heads off.
So bad.
It is what it is.
I don't understand the point of it at all.
Well, the thing is, from what I can remember of it was probably more than a couple of episodes. I probably watched a few, but it seems more like the plot of where the Immortals came from in the second film, them being aliens.
Yeah. It's just
bad on my part. I really didn't. I wrote something down about it. Here we go.
It's trash.
What did I put?
Skip.
Okay, this is not an alien planet. Put your tongue back in, Nick. Post-apocalyptic future where Connor's descendants, Quentin MacLeod, is the main character. So are we to assume that Connor's dead? And I also put different from the series, aimed at younger audiences. I'm going to say took liberties, but I actually wrote took the piss with the law. That's actually what I wrote.
Nice. Yeah.
Because of no killing rule among immortals. There we go. So I don't know why I self-censored there because I said it anyway. So there is that. There is that. Look, but it does speak to how good Highlander was that it kicked off all of this, especially given that essentially it was a flop in the US. It was, as we said right at the start of the stream, it was European and Japanese audiences that really kept this film afloat and got them to do all these sequels. So
yeah. I mean, but that's good. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But
you carry on.
It's basically with the other cult classics. A lot of times it doesn't do particularly well when it comes out, but over time it gets a huge following. We absolutely love it, So it just needed time, It just needed some time to kind of work its magic. It's kind of magic, but I mean, I have to give props to it because I wouldn't have had Duncan without it. So I have to appreciate it, right?
And look, and the thing is, it spawned something that gave people that created fans in other ways. So it is what it is. I think Dave's Dimensions said that it was released in the cinema. I don't think it was in the UK though. We don't always get everything over here, and if it was, it would have. And the reason I believe it wasn't, I probably should have researched it more, but because if that would have come out, if I'd have seen Connor MacLeod in the time it come out, 2000 was the time when I was all about going to the cinema and stuff. And I remember the first I knew about this was going into Blockbuster Video. And I think I may have even rented it on DVD. I think it was around that time, so I had a DVD player. I was laughing at Mr. B's comment. Nick, I don't look at him that way. No, I don't.
Why not?
He's not my type. He's not my type.
Honey, he's everybody's type. Sorry.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Oh dear. I always struggle on these chats because talking for so long, it dries me right out. I should probably drink water rather than beer when I do them, but there you go. Alan Dawson just made it in. Hello, Alan. Good to see you, mate. Good to have a catch up with you earlier today. What's TJC put here? That was it. I want to bring up TJC's comment. The TV series was made in a time when film studios were running out of ideas, hence the multitude of cheap knockoff sequels at the time.
Yep.
I could probably say that hasn't really changed now.
No. Too afraid to make new things. They just keep recycling. Or, it was animated. Now let's make a live action. Not everything needs to be remade. Not everything. We talked about that with, oh my gosh, what was our last film? Labyrinth. We don't need a remake.
Labyrinth.
Yeah, we don't, there's just certain things that don't need a live action or they don't need to be remade. Just leave them alone. But
no, I've already read that comment. So let's have a look, see if we've had anyone else in. Dave puts, Highlander Raven was so bad. Highlander carbon copy. I haven't watched any of it, so I can only go by the fact it lasts for one series and what Kat and people online are saying. But I believe you, Dave. I believe all you guys. You've all...
Raven's horrible. Don't waste. Nope. Don't do that.
What's Mr. Beep at that? I'll keep you streaming, but I'm turning you down so people don't think my ass is talking long.
All right. Just tell them it's some kind of magic. That's funny. Oh, okay. I can't hear you now.
That's because I didn't unmute myself.
All right.
I was like, my bad.
I thought something happened to my audio. All right.
I haven't done that for a while. My bad. Sorry, mate. Gil puts, I'll start again. Oh, yeah. The animated series, it sucks quite a bit. Too futuristic, weird stuff, and I hardly find it related to Highlander mythos. That's the thing. It's very, it's odd. And Smirking Bear puts, so how did Connor's descendants become immortal if Connor becomes immortal? this is the thing. It's just it's just what it is, isn't it? What's Alan put here? The bad guy in black in the animated series still you showed looks like the character Venga from Dungeons and Dragons animated series. Yes, yes it does.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Good spot. Oh goodness me, I'm seeing All Hell Rum and Darth Blobby.
Bear is grounded. Stop talking about the lobby. I hate that thing.
And I'm gonna bring this up bravely without having read it first because it's from Mr. Fuller. The name Connor comes from Concubar, Mac Nessa, Irish mythology. So if Highlander is set in ancient Scotland, why did they manage to spell his name wrong and with 2 N's? Okay. I don't know. But cool fact. Sometimes, Connor, I bring your comments up and I start reading them. I go, no, Nick, why did you bring that comment up without reading it?
I have that trouble with rums.
But I can barely see the screen, dude. The text is so small. No.
Contact.
I'm like Connor. I don't want to age. Well, he did want to age. That's the problem. So yeah. Before we sort of summarize how we feel about our final thoughts on the film, did you tell me you made some notes about the so-called remake that's happening? Oh, and I will just say, Salacious Rum, the English surname Fuller, almost certainly derives from the occupation of dressing or fulling cloth. Okay. Cool.
Great back there, Rum. Great back. Good
to
job.
see you, Rum. Thank you for popping along. Thank you. Yeah, so do you want to give your details? Because I quite stubbornly didn't want to touch on the not that I didn't want to touch on it, I just couldn't be bothered to look into it. Don't remake Highlander, please.
So it's they're going to start filming in January, and it's with Henry Cavill. I'm fine with him being. He's not Duncan. He's going to be Connor again. They're going to pull from 86, but they're also going to be pulling some lore from the TV shows. What I read, it didn't specify, is that 92? Is that some of the, it didn't specify which, because we had, several things to pull from in the early 2000s as well. But it's also going to be a bit of a sequel or a prequel, they said. So
what is it? A remake or a prequel?
That they said both in the same text. They said both. So I don't even.
So just before you said your bit, I said, please don't remake Highlander, which is a bit out of character for me because actually, and I've said many times, I will always watch a remake because some remakes are good. Many are terrible, but some are good. I'd give it a chance, but hello, kitty cat. For me, that's just so confusing. Yeah. How can it be a prequel, sequel, remake? And you don't know. You're just going by the facts that are online.
Yeah. That's what it said with it. But so I don't know how that's really going to do it. If they're pulling from 86 and the TV shows, I don't know how. Honestly, if they're just going to start filming in January, all of that could be scrapped and it could be something different. They could change a lot of that. So I don't know, but that's all I found with it.
Dude, I sometimes think they just put BS out there to throw people off the scent.
Yeah, totally. They could.
Look, and Palps puts a reimagining. Jojo puts Henry Cavill. I'll watch it no matter how bad it is.
Thank you. Exactly. I don't care. I will suffer through it. I'll take one for the team and watch it soon. Nobody else has to. I'm fine with that.
I'll put this comment on screen because it's hilarious, but I'm not reading it out.
Awesome.
And Keith says, hello, Cat's cat.
That's my old man cat. He's going to be 90. Technically, it's his birthday this month. So in cat years, I think he becomes like 102.
Oh, wow.
This month in cat years. So
that is old. And Gil, I'm getting tired. Sorry, guys. Nice chatting with you. Take care, Kat and Nick, and everyone in the chat. Have a good live stream. Thank you, Gil, man. Thank you for coming along. Really appreciate you taking part this evening in the chat. So,
yes. Thank you.
We really are getting. We've got through this in almost. I've almost followed my notes. I've not made too many mistakes tonight, so probably skipped over loads of stuff. But so I guess the final thing I'm going to put to you, let's give you a question. Are you glad that you watched this now? Because I won't say you were apprehensive, but you did kind of come at me with the whole, oh, it's probably 80s nonsense. Because like you did with Flash Gordon, and you watched Flash Gordon, and you had a newfound respect for it and actually said it was nowhere near as bad as you remembered or thought. How did you actually find the original Highlander movie, Highlander 86, the film we came here to talk about? What do you think of it? Is it going to be a film you'll revisit again in the future?
With some skipped parts that I didn't care for. But yeah, no, I mean, I can see why it's a cult classic. I mean, I do appreciate my Highlander a lot more, seeing where it came from. I think it's got everything you could want. It's got romance, action, beheadings. I mean, what's more to ask for in a film, right? I mean, you got a little bit for everybody, but no, I don't think it. I mean, it's got the 80s cheesiness, but so does the 92 show. It's clearly the 90s cheesiness. So I think it was really well done. I mean, I'm going to be forever enjoying the soundtrack, and I cannot wait to watch that music video. It keeps like half, when you got YouTube up and it's starting to play videos, and I keep seeing
it does the preview thing.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep it together because I keep seeing things. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's coming. But
turn the phone over.
I did. I blacked it out, so you can't see it now.
Oh, good. Why am I bringing this up again? Click the wrong thing.
But no, I'm really glad that I know that there's that film out there, and I really did enjoy it, minus a few parts that I didn't care for. But no, it was really good.
See, I love this film. I love all the historical scenes like I've just brung up here. Oh, Daniel Chart, 99. Hello, thank you for joining us. It's a magnificent film, top-notch soundtrack too. Definitely in my top 10 films. Yeah, 100 billion million % with you on that. And I've also got to say hello to Thousandth Ghost, our ghostie. Says, hey guys, what's up? How are you doing? And Ghosty says, love the first film. So before we wrap up, you said something interesting there. You said a few bits you'd skip over that you didn't care for.
Yeah.
What were those bits? You happy to go over that, or?
Yeah, I don't care. Okay, and this is just a personal thing. It's not
That's fine.
It's Highlander, but I don't like watching sex scenes in movies. Like, I'm like
fine.
that little kid that like, oh, I don't need to see this, right? So I'd skip over that. But I really didn't like the prize part where all those weird things were happening. That weirded me out. So I'd skip over that too.
Oh, what, when he's floating around in the air and all the like dragons?
Yeah, like at the end when it's I was like, I don't know what the crap that is, but it was, I don't know, it was just weirding me out. I was like, I don't know about that part. So I would skip over that. I'm like, as soon as the guy's head comes off or splits, whatever, then I'd be like, cool, great, they're back in Scotland. Fantastic. That's what I would do.
It's a weird decap when he does get the Kurgan's head. The way his neck sort of folds and he smiles, and
and it's
the
like
head sort of peels off.
Yeah. I mean that's part's really cool, but
I think the main cast in this film were excellent. I think Clancy Brown was brilliant as the Kurgan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm intrigued. I'm a little bit intrigued by this reboot, remake, prequel, whatever it is. Can't really, if it's still connected to the original film, I don't know how you set Cavill as Connor. He's pretty boy like the guy who played Duncan. So
listen, you can just roll him in some mud. Basically, same thing. It's fine. Put him in a wig. He was in a wig in Witcher, which I didn't watch, but I mean, it's just rub some dirt on him. Same thing. Not a difference.
It's like when someone cuts himself and their granddad says spit on it and rub some dirt in it.
Yeah, exactly. Just he can roll around in the dirt, put on a wig. There you go. He's Connor. I would buy it. I'm all for it.
And just say Daniel says Clancy Brown's portrayal of the Kurgan is perfect. Yep, I would agree that I cannot think of anyone I would have preferred as the Kurgan. I can't think of anyone I would have preferred as Connor Ramirez or Heather, or I know you didn't like Brenda, but the actress did a good job. You know, they all the cast were good. They all delivered well. TJC, as I said earlier, Nick, Highlander was the first VHS film I ever bought. Well, there you go.
Nice.
There are some memories there. And Bear says, heads will roll. Because, I mean, of course, I have to get some of the people in from the MLA who have appeared this evening. What was it I said? APD and Kat talk about a film.
Oh.
About getting head or something.
Yep. It worked, though.
It worked. Yeah. I love this film. I don't know what more to say about it without sounding like a gushy kid. If anyone here has listened through this and hasn't seen it, I would 100% say please do go and watch it. I think it's about £4 on Amazon at the moment. Loved it.
Yep.
And I'm you know, apart from the bits that you'd skip over, I'm glad that you actually enjoyed it, because there's always that risk. Even JoJo, who was in earlier, her seeing it for the first time is great. If this chat's brought a couple more people to watching it and enjoying it, brilliant. So few housekeeping things, because we've reached the end. Kat, anything you want to promote? Anything you want to say? Anything you want to do before we wrap it up? It's your moment to shine.
Promote
yourself.
Dave did ask me a while ago, and I'm going to go back to 92 here for a second, who was Duncan's favorite girlfriend, Tessa, and her death was a travesty. And I still hate it. So there you go, Dave. Also, I'm streaming like normal tonight if you guys want to come hang out. So I know it's like at the butt crack of dawn for UK people, but we'll be around in the morning if you're there. And I have some things coming up, but I'm not ready to share them yet on my stream. But I do have a puzzle war that's going to happen December 20th against Rum, because he thinks he can out-puzzle me, which he won't. But we're going to be...
That's not good. That's never going to happen.
We're gonna be battling. I know we're gonna be battling a 3D Death Star puzzle together. So we have the same one on December 20th. So look out for that, and I hope everybody can come and watch me destroy him.
I just love that. I brought up TJC's comment about Rum mainly came here to see what you're wearing, and Kieran's just put, are you sure Rum's not here to see what Nick's wearing? Well, I'm wearing a live and moderately entertaining t-shirt. I'm not going to stand up because I'm in pajama bottoms, but I'm in X-Men pajama bottoms. Nice. I'm in my pajamas, guys, because after this wraps up, I need to go to bed. I will say, if you're in the chat and you've enjoyed this and you haven't done so yet, give the video a like. It genuinely does help YouTube push it out when this fully uploads. So if you did enjoy it and you can give it a like, that's excellent. If you are watching and you're not subbed, if you like what you see, if you enjoy the content, give it a sub. Kat tells me off because I never promote myself. This is me promoting myself. Good job. And if there's anyone you know who you think will enjoy this, send it to them on WhatsApp, send it to them in a thing, because apparently that really helps as well. I have got another stream on Thursday. I'm joined by the one and only Toy Ploy. We are going to be talking Battle Beyond the Stars, which I'm really looking forward to doing. That'll be 9 p.m, which is 4 p.m. Eastern in the States. So if you're about for that, please do check it out. I think it's going to be an interesting chat because it's a film which I've not seen until recently, but it's a film of Dave's that he really loves and enjoys. So please do come along if it's your thing. If I haven't done so yet, I may not have done because I'm a bit forgetful. I will link Kat's channel in the video description, so make it nice and easy, but it's only Vadersgirl. If you're here and you don't follow Kat, go check her out. She's awesome. And all that remains to be said is thank you so much to the chat for taking part this evening. It works because you guys show up. And Kat, thank you as ever for coming back again. You are a series regular, and I look forward to the next one we're doing. Can we tell them what the next one is we're doing? I'm quite excited by it.
I guess
Should we wait?
No, they can know. They can know.
So it'll be December. What are you and me coming back to discuss in December, Kat?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what we're discussing. You've set out so many titles of things. I don't know what we're discussing. I've gotten them all back. So you announcing it to them is announcing it to me because we've said too many movies that I don't know which.
All right. In December, me and Kat will return just before Christmas to discuss Home Alone because it's got to be done. It's got to be done. We will be discussing Home Alone. But there will, of course, as I say, there's a show on Thursday and there will be a few more. December's going to be a bit of a busy month. I've got a few people lined up for perhaps unconventional Christmas films. But I'm going to now say, I'm going to take the comment down off the screen. I'm going to say, everyone, you've been brilliant. Kat, you've been brilliant. Thank you again for joining us. Always appreciated. And we will catch you on the next one. So, guys, as always, stay safe, be cool, and we will catch you on the next one. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.